Futures racing higher this morning as tech stocks breathe life back into the sluggish market. Meta and Nvidia, two leaders in 2023's Magnificent Seven rally, helping bring stocks out of their slump as Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg says the company's, quote, future roadmap for AI includes 350,000 of Nvidia's H100 graphics cards. This follows more great chip industry news from Taiwan Semiconductor as well as a bullish call on Apple stock. All of this news pushing the Nasdaq 100 to close at an all-time high on Thursday, according to Bank of America. Close to that all-time high there here. We're continuing to track that. Top gainers from last year, once again, top pick for most investors. We have Yahoo Finance's Josh Schafer with us to break down more. Josh, what more do we need to say?
AI.
AI.
Well, I think we could say AI and hang up the phone, right? We're back.
That's what it seemed like at Davos. Everyone was talking about AI.
We're back to that moment, right?
Yeah.
We spent 2 months talking about regional banks and kind of talking about some different trades and getting people excited about other things that don't have to do with tech. And then if you really look at the market action over the first 3 weeks, you could just own the Magnificent Seven and go home. Because the Magnificent Seven is what is driving this market again. When you look at performance, when you look at it compared to the S&P 500, like we're showing on your screen now, outperforming the S&P 500 in the month when we're talking about just January. And then you see the Russell 2000 really coming back to earth in the month after that big rally we've had. The Russell 2000, of course, a pretty regional bank heavy index. Interesting to just kind of see this trade, guys. But also important, I think, for the market, right? When we talk about how big tech is overall weighting in the S&P 500 and being able to bring us higher.
Yeah, and Josh, as you were reporting in your conversation with Keith Lerner over at Truist, you were saying it really just comes down to math, right? Given the fact, the size, and how much of the Magnificent Seven accounts for the S&P and really the broader market here. My question, though, to you is in terms of the strategists and what you're hearing, what you're seeing in these notes, how much of this market momentum that we've seen, at least over the last 48 hours, this renewed excitement around tech, how much is riding on these earnings results here that we're going to be getting in the coming weeks?
Oh, a lot, right? And I think it's important to remember, yes, you have the headset out from Apple today. You have Mark Zuckerberg going on Instagram and talking about what they're doing with Meta and AI. But you also had strong earnings from Taiwan Semiconductor, and you had them talking about AI growth of 20%. And I think it's important to remember that's part of really what I think when we saw futures tick off before Thursday's trading session, that was where the movement started to come, and you're going to see that really matter in earnings. And the other thing, too, guys, that I think is important to remember here when we're talking about owning these companies, everyone's at a little bit of a different stage in their AI story. And that's going to be something I think to focus on over the next 2 weeks, right? When we're talking about Microsoft, when we're talking about Google or Alphabet, that's a different AI story than Meta, and it's a different AI story than Apple, who pretty much just pulled that lever this week and hadn't really mentioned it before, right? So I think it's important to remember what the investor expectations are for AI before the company that you own reports earnings.
Right, because there's so many there's three kind of core buckets that you can think about that generative AI as the latest form and iteration of AI innovation that a lot of these companies are going to have to think about, applications or the models or the chips. And we've already seen the chips play out as well.
And for investors, it's not just enough just to mention AI. We talked about the fact that it was mentioned so many times in earnings calls, but really starting to, and it has, I think you can make the case last quarter too, really turning into a show me story just in terms of what exactly this means to the bottom lines. All right, Josh, thanks so much.